Welcome everyone, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and friends. Welcome to the 25th annual conference of the Forum for Macroeconomics and Macroeconomic Policies, short name FMM, here in Berlin. We are very happy that this year's conference can take place in presence and at the same location as in the past, because due to the pandemic, we had to conduct last year's conference online only, and still due to the pandemic we have slightly less participants in the room than in normal years, yet probably even more people than in the past joining the stream. As I just said, last year we could only conduct it online, and while the conference was very interesting and successful, many people, including me, missed the occasion for social interaction, for intense discussions and networking. So I hope that everyone in the room, and also not only today, but also in the coming days, will enjoy the opportunity to talk to others in person after such a long time being somehow condemned to only distance meetings and being stuck in the home office. In order to guarantee safe interactions, we checked that everyone in the room is vaccinated, recovered, or tested. Nevertheless, we would ask you to wear a mask once you move from room to room, but once you're sitting, you're free to put them off, and definitely, of course, once you're drinking or eating. For those of you who attend this conference for the first time, let me briefly introduce the FMM. FMM is a research network hosted and financially supported by the Macroeconomic Policy Institute, the IMK, of the Hans-Böckler Foundation. We have a steering committee consisting out of 15 economists that are mainly based in Germany, Austria, and the UK, and 3 of them were responsible for organizing the program of this year's conference. The 3 are Jan Behringer, Sebastian Gechert, and Andrew Watt. And one, in addition, also Maria Nicolaidi prepared it, a fellow. I will come to that in a minute. We have 2 speakers of the committee, and that used to be Sebastian Gechert and myself. Fortunately for him, but unfortunately for me, Sebastian just became ordinary professor at Chemnitz University, and that's why he will step down as one of the speakers, and we have just elected Andrew Watt as his successor. So congratulations to Andy, and thanks for doing it. He's sitting there. Thank you. Yet before we continue, let me briefly thank Sebastian for his long and very effective support as a speaker of the steering committee. He had been a speaker for several years, from 2013 onwards until now. And when I joined the steering group in 2015, he was already there, and I always realized him I was always impressed as how organized, efficient, and reliable he did it. He always made sure that the conferences and the summer school would run smoothly, and in addition, in a very nice and comforting atmosphere. So I will very much miss him. And without him on my side, I would have never volunteered to become one of the speakers. So thanks a lot, and thanks for staying in the steering committee nevertheless. So. Apart from the steering committee, we have an international network of fellows who give their intellectual support to the network. And one of them also did it by co-organizing the conference. That's Maria Nicolaidi. In addition, many of the fellows are speakers in these conferences and contribute to our FMM working paper series. But of course, the network also consists of you taking part in this conference. So thank you for being here, and I hope you will enjoy it as much as possible. We are very glad that these events always receive so much positive attention This year we have about 250 registered participants. I mean, like 300 registered, but that means that over the 3 days, on average, there will be something like 250 in the room. In the past, it was bigger, and hopefully from next year onwards, we can again return to having more than 400 here in Berlin. Since years, the conference has established itself as one of the biggest annual economics conferences in Europe. And we are particularly proud of having received so many good paper proposals by young economists. Because this is also one of the main objectives of the FMM and the IMK. We want to bring together young and senior economists, especially those that are discontent with the prevailing orthodoxy in economics and are eager to explore new and more useful ways of doing economics, and especially in these challenging times. We have established a good tradition by organizing a pre-conference workshop. Some of you may have attended it in the morning and afternoon sessions with about more than 100 attendants. And we are very grateful to Eckhard Hein, Waltraud Schelkle, and Michael Roos for having provided excellent introductory courses with a non-orthodox view on economics. So thanks to those who then gave the presentation and took part in discussions. Additionally, like each year before the pandemic, tomorrow we will have 6 parallel graduate student sessions starting at 11:30 a.m. And they're really purposefully planned right in the middle of the conference to make sure that attendance is high and that it's not just shortly before everyone is leaving. These panel sessions will feature 21 promising papers tackling our headline conference topics more or less directly, with pressing issues like how to finance a transition, how to deal with wealth inequality, how to deal with effects of technological change, and how they affect the labor market, how about stagnation and growth. And in addition, we are part of a broader pluralist movement, and we are proud to be so. This pluralist movement has been supported by more and more people since the financial crisis especially, and I think climate change is again pushing it. This made sure that arguments are now discussed more widely in the academic mainstream, and that is really great to see. This is something we could not have thought about 20 years ago. That this became more prevalent or became so successful also, of course, was or intellectual and financial support by the Hans-Böckler Foundation helped in that, but also INET and other donors have been one piece in this puzzle. But it could only take momentum by the activities of students in many countries challenging orthodox teaching together with the research of scholars from dissenting and heterodox traditions that have also been regulars at this conference. And we are very proud that they are and that they really contribute to successful conferences. Now coming to this year's conference topic, that is macroeconomics of socio-ecological transition. It had already been discussed for last year's conference, but of course, due to the pandemic, we realized that we have to postpone it. Yet, it still felt that this is still the main challenge for today's world, how to organize the ecological transition in a way that it is not increasing but decreasing social disparities, income and wealth inequality that were already high before the pandemic, but have probably risen in most countries even more so. So the question is really how to tackle that. Why did we choose the topic? Social inequalities, climate change, and environmental pollution question the sustainability of capitalist modes of production, consumption, and policies. Macroeconomists of both orthodox and heterodox traditions have long focused on economic growth as the central means to development. And this was not only for advanced economies, but especially so for the global south, and it was seen as the means for prosperity and solution to distributional conflicts. However, externalities of economic growth should be taken into account because they have an impact on welfare and on distributional issues within and between countries, within and between generations. And with our conference, we really hope to contribute to a debate from a macroeconomic perspective that will really be fruitful and that will also help everyone here also learning from other fields and will really then improve the thinking of how to best manage this transition. Questions involve how does global capitalism shape the environment? What can macroeconomic policy do to facilitate a just transition towards a sustainable world economy? What are the feedbacks from distributional effects and ecological developments back to the macroeconomy? And how to improve macroeconomic modeling by including socio-ecological dimensions. So let us now come to what this conference can contribute to the discussion. We have 3 plenary sessions, one starting in a minute, then another one tomorrow and on Saturday, always in the evenings, that have been organized in a manner to look into the different aspects of the socio-ecological transition. In a few minutes, the first one will start, and it will mainly look at how to model socio-ecological transformation. So it will try to help us improve macroeconomic modeling by including socio-ecological dimensions that so far have been missing in most macroeconomic models, or in the past even in all. I will say more on this session in a few minutes. At the moment, I only want to say that I'm very much looking forward to 3 very distinguished speakers, and that's Emanuele Campiglio, Maria Nicolaidi, and Andrea Roventini. Tomorrow, in the second plenary, we will go into the details of global implications of socio-ecological transformation. And Sebastian Gechert will chair this panel. It will rather look at what are the different sustainability trajectories. We'll also look at certain selected countries. For example, Isabella Weber will focus on China, and Usha Natarajan on the Global South. I forgot to ask how to pronounce the name, sorry. That was wrong. And we will have Antoine Godin look at the different sustainability trajectories. So I'm sure that there we will get some more applied insight about the different challenges countries and country groups are facing. In the concluding plenary session on Saturday, Zol Davas, Julia Steinberger, and Miriam Rehm from the FMM coordination team will discuss policies of socio-ecological transformation. This session will be chaired by Andrew Watt, the just elected new speaker of the FMM. Okay. Besides the plenaries, I should not forget to mention the tremendous amount of very interesting paper proposals we received for this conference. Unfortunately, we received too many, and due to space constraints, we had to reject a large amount of very promising submissions. Nevertheless, the ones we have about 140 parallel session presentations, and with them, the conference is fully booked. And if you're interested, you can download the papers through the conference webpage. If you know that some of your friends and colleagues could not make it to this conference, you may want to direct them to the live stream that we provide for the plenary sessions. Please do so by using the hashtag 25FMM in capital letters. You also find it on the program. And similar to past conferences, we will again publish a selection of papers after the conference in a special Papers and Proceedings issue of the European Journal of Economics and Economic Policies. In short, Egypt, which is the home journal of the FMM. Yeah, it's been used. Great. It's strange to hear myself in the room. There are some interesting publication there, so you will see some publications by Internet Economics, the FMM, and the IMK lying outside in case you're interested. Yeah, but that's so much for organizational issues. We will start in a few minutes. But before we start, I would like to especially thank the Hans-Böckler Foundation for the generous financial support of this conference. You will notice that this is a conference where you don't have to pay for, and you get normally very lovely lunch and dinner and afternoon cake. So I hope you'll enjoy it and use it also to really make contacts with others. I also want to thank the INET Young Scholar Initiative for providing travel grants for graduate student presenters. This is also a great plus for them and allows many to participate. And finally, let me thank you very much for coming. It's really great to see so many people in the room and have the chance to really talk to people directly and not just online. A last save the date information. In case you're interested to also then come to next year's conference, we already fixed the date. It will take place October 20 to 22 in 2022. So again, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but not the last weekend in October, but the pre-last one, again in Berlin. So that's it. Let me finally thank you very much for coming, being here, and I hope that we will all enjoy a very thought-provoking conference on macroeconomics of socio-ecological transition. Thank you.